When the last rose of summer pricks my fingers, and the hot sun chills me to the bone. When I can't hear the song for the sea, and I can't tell my pillow from a stone, I will walk along by the black muddy river, singing me a song of my own. I will walk along by the black muddy river, sing me a song of my own. Black muddy river, roll on forever. I don't care how deep or wide, if you got another side. Roll muddy river, roll muddy river, roll muddy river and roll. Hey everyone, welcome to MT Guitar. Today we're going to learn how to play Black Muddy River by the Grateful Dead. We're currently, during the filming of this video, in the in-between days, known as the days in between Jerry Garcia's birth on August 1st and death on August 9th. And so this song is off of their album In the Dark from 1987, same album with Touch of Grey, so quite an album for the Grateful Dead and for Jerry Garcia. So yeah, this song is very, very fun to play. I'm going to teach you my way in drop D and also in standard tuning. I like the drop D because you can get this cool chord melody. But besides that, it doesn't really make a big difference. It sounds great in standard. In fact, let's see how that sounds real quick. When the last rose of summer pricks my finger. So it sounds totally fine there. You're just not getting that drop D for that D chord there. But very fun song to play, and it's just an amazing song. It's one of my favorite late Dead songs. And as for the guitar hook and sort of the solo part that Jerry plays, we'll go over that note for note as well. And I'll teach it to you without the chords behind it, just sort of how he played it. Maybe a little bit hard to bend that G string on the acoustic, so you can slide it as well. Right. So it works well as a chord melody if you go, you know, so you end up getting sort of like a sus4, sus2 thing on the A, and then a nice sort of a first inversion D triad kind of shape there. So it's very fun to play. Chord melody, we'll go over that as well. Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/mtguitar for tabs and study guides there. And I hope you're doing well. Go ahead and check out the channel and some other videos, and let's go ahead and jump on in and learn this. All right, let's just start this actually in standard tuning so we can play the song the easiest way possible, and then I'm going to go to drop D and show you the really cool intro, chord melody, hook, and all that. It's a bit more full of a sound with the drop D, but you don't necessarily need to do that obviously to play the song because they weren't in drop D. So let's just start with the intro. All right, so the chords are A to D. And we go straight to F sharp minor, ba da 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 da, to E, da ba ba da, to D. All right, and that takes us to the verse. Now, lucky for us, that's also a chord progression that occurs throughout the song and the chorus as well as the hook throughout. So that intro sort of sets you up for a lot of the other other sections of the song. Now we have the verse. All right, so for the verse, the quickest and easiest way to play it is just kind of play A major to D major. But there's a really cool thing that the acoustic guitar does throughout the song on the verse, is kind of follows the voice. So to spice it up with that A, you can go da da A sus 2, and then quickly back to A. These are all down strums. Sus 2, A, sus 4, back to A, back to sus, back to A. So it's alternating, right? Sus, sus, sus. Okay? And in fact, the very last one, if you can stop on the third string, even better, because that's the vocal melody on that third string, not on the entire A chord. So the whole thing would be ba da 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 da. So actually stay A sus 2 at the end. Then go to a D chord, back to A, straight. Okay? So if you want to just play the song without that, you can, but it's kind of nice, right? And we'll reinforce that with the drop D. So that happens twice. So here's the second time. And I can't. Good. Third time, we repeat. After the D, we're going to go to F sharp. I'm sorry, to A, and then F sharp minor to E, then to D. That's the verse. Let's go to the chorus, and we have E major. I will walk to A, then to D, down to A. A, E to D. We'll cover this as well. We'll cover that in both this tuning and drop D. So this would be 4-2-0-2-0 on a nice E major chord. I will walk. Okay, so that's a riff you can throw in. I will walk. Back to A, D to A, but this time we're going to go to F sharp minor. Sing me a song to D, just like before. Then it goes to the riff. Bop, bop, same thing, but this time A, D to A. And this time you just repeat. Okay. And now we're into the next verse and chorus. So that's a way to play it in standard. I'm going to go into drop D because the chord melody takes on a kind of a life of its own, I think. You know. Now it does add a little bit of cloudiness to the part because of the bass, and it makes the fingerings more difficult, like on an E chord. I want to get all 6 strings. Same thing with the F sharp minor. It's just a little bit more muddy of a sound in general, so it may not be your cup of tea. So that's why I started with standard. But I'm going to cover the riff note for note individually, and you can play that with standard, or you can do this chord melody. You could, do this chord melody without drop D as well. You could just have that just be a, kind of a barred thing there. But anyway, let's start with the intro. We'll circle back to the verse and chorus, and then the chord melody. All right, 2-4-2, 4-6 slide, 4-6, 6-7. Back to 6, 4-6-4 hammer on pull off 2, 2-4 hammer on. Okay, so that would be right. Repeat. Oh no, sorry, for the intro. Then it goes right. So that would be 2-1-4-2-4. 1-2-1-2, slide to 4. That's the single note part. Of course, you can just play that and then play the chords of the song. You're fine. Or you could kind of do a similar thing, which happens in the verse anyway. But this time, have a nice open D. So, long way to tell you why we're doing this, but that's just an awesome little thing there. So that's 2-4 hammer on. But this time we get to strum the 6th and 5th strings with it. Kind of strum it a few times back to an A. Now for the intro part, we go here, but this time we can land on a F sharp bass. Now E, again, there's a couple ways to do it. You can try to get all the strings and bar it with two strings on one finger, or you can just 2 mute 2 1, and then 2nd fret, 1st fret, back to 4th string, and then slide 2 to 4 for a nice satisfying D there. All right, so that would be 3, 2, 0, 2, hammer, back to A. Here's the 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 4, sorry. Okay. Now, when we play the song, we also have the benefit of this low D. So now let's rehash the verse and chorus with these. I wouldn't say new and improved because I don't think it's better. I just think it's a different sound, and that's what I tended to gravitate towards. So we have A. Sorry, with the susses. 1, sus, sus. Now D, we can strum all 6 strings. Now, careful when you go back to the A, mute that D string with your thumb if you would, because it's going to be ringing out and you're going to get an unpleasant sound. So that's another danger. Heads up. Do not just strum that A willy-nilly with that after that D chord, because you need to mute it first and then continue muting it as you strum. It's kind of a hassle, I know. But do it a couple times and see if you can form a habit and not have to think about it. All right, so that would be... now we do the same thing for the verse. G, this time we stay there. 3rd time. D to A. Now F sharp minor. E. And notice my new fingerings. So let's go over that. F sharp minor. 4, mute, 4, 2, 2, 2. 2, mute, 2, 1, 0, 0. Then D. Oh, sorry, whoops. I'm not adjusting to the new tuning. Yeah. And that part's a little tricky. So we're going to go on the riff 4, 2, 0, 4, 2 instead of 2, 0, right? But it needs to land on the E chord. Might be a little tricky. But if you can get there, great. If you're not, just do the bass and then the chord after. I will walk to A. Here's a D. D, then to A. A to E. D. Here's the riff. E to A. Remember to mute that. D string, D to A. Here's the F sharp minor. Sing me a song. All right, good job. So we've rehashed the verse and chorus. I haven't taught the bridge in either version. So, you know, if you're doing standard, thanks for your patience. This will work. You just correct the bass string fingerings on this open D. All right, so black, muddy. If you're doing it on standard, by the way, it's just 0, 4, 0, 1, 2. But in this case, it's 6, right? So 0, 6, 0, 1, 2 is the bass line leading into the bridge. Black, muddy river. Okay, so that's a little tricky. B minor, E, major, right? A, 6th fret, 4th fret if you're standard, to F sharp minor. Black, muddy river, go on forever. So, black, muddy river, roll on forever. You can kind of skip this if you want. Just roll on forever. It doesn't sound right. You need that bass note. Roll on forever. Now, if you were standard, you could do A over G sharp instead of the 6th fret. Go on for... Here's a F sharp minor. E to A. E to A. Here's D. C over A over C sharp, excuse me. Okay, 4, 2, 2, 2. B minor. A. D, then to E. And, oh, sorry, E. And A. Into the riff. So, sorry. Here's the whole riff, in case I skip this, right? 3rd time. Now finish it off with the part you learned on the intro. Woo! So that bridge is actually tougher than the verse or chorus, and it's, you know, typical of a bridge. It's an annoying aspect of the learning part is the bridge is sometimes harder than the more famous parts. But that's what, you know, lean into that challenge as a reward for your work. You'll have a whole beautiful song. So I think that does it. We've sort of covered a lot of ground very quickly. So I encourage you to rewind the video, play with it slowly, master one part at a time if you like. And kind of go from there. But really fun to play. There'll be a full tab of this on the Patreon, and there's a ton of resources up there to check out. Really appreciate your support over there as well. To those patrons, remember to subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you next lesson, everyone. Take care. Bye.